right, welcome to today's episode of Tomorrow's Leader, where we dive deep on all things leader related to leading yourself and leading others. I am John Laredo, your host today and every day. So I have just begun something that I'm having a blast with, and this won't be the last time you hear of it because I will be talking, I'm sure, many episodes about this, but I just started playing kickball. Yeah, kickball. We've played it in third, fourth, fifth grade. Well, now here I am, almost 50, and I'm on a kickball league. That's right, I'm playing kickball. We got a group of 15 or 20 people, and we go out there every Sunday. We've been practicing. We have not played a game yet. That doesn't happen for a few weeks. But I got to tell you, it is a blast. It is an absolute blast. So we get out there. None of us have played kickball in forever. So we're kind of thinking back and relearning some of the rules and stuff like that, feeling what it's like to kick a kickball again, and just having some fun. But here's a couple cool things. We have a great team, and none of us have played in a lot of years. We're all different levels. We got, for the most part, reasonably close age bracket. But we joined this league that has a maximum of 8 teams. We were 5 minutes after the registration opened, and we were team number 7, literally. I mean, that's how fast this thing filled up. So popular sport. But I got to tell you, it's really cool. We all got out there, different skill sets, different athletic abilities and all this stuff. And virtually everybody has made this great amount of progress. Like, the team is really coming together. It's only been 2 practices, but the team is really coming together. And I got to tell you a couple things. And yeah, the team, I'm hoping you're out there listening and you can vouch for that. We are making progress. So I think it's going to be a good season. I feel good about it. Doesn't matter who we're going to play. I think we are going to play together as a team really well. A couple of things that really kind of strike me. One is, this is a reminder of like the power of leadership and building the right culture and all this kind of stuff. I mean, when one person has a success, catches a ball, it's like the whole, team goes nuts. We're all supporting everybody. When you have that kind of atmosphere, it doesn't matter if somebody screws up or doesn't. It's a team where it's like, okay, it's actually okay to drop a ball. It's okay to, learn some of the rules as you go and all this kind of stuff. It's a forgiving type of atmosphere. And some organizations have a very unforgiving atmosphere. They don't tolerate mistakes. They don't tolerate a learning curve. They don't tolerate different variances in skill level or experience or things like that. You have to kind of fit this mold of what they expect, and that's it. And if you don't, you're kind of left out to be, in the outside. This is different. And when this happens like this, where you bring everybody together, you have some fun, everybody kind of just checks their ego at the door and you have a blast, it's amazing at what you can do. You actually play really well. We have a lot of fun together. But one of the things that was interesting, we were going through the other day, different situations and kind of running drills and stuff like that. Yeah, we literally have practices. Yes, we have practices. So we're running through, these different scenarios, person on first, person on second, and 2 outs. And here the kickball is in the air, it's on the ground. What do you do? And kind of going through, just base running skills and just the, kickball smarts, so to speak. And some people have played baseball, others have not. Others have played a lot of sports, others have not played any. So it's all different levels, but that type of work together in preparing the team for different situations benefits everybody because it reinforces, okay, here's what's going to happen. Now in sports like baseball or kickball, whatever, there's a finite number of things that are going to happen. Okay. The run or the kicker is going to either kick it in the air or on the ground. They're either going to kick it far or they're going to kick it short. So you have limited scenarios that you can prep for. They're going to kick it on the right side or left side. And you can go through that, and a good coach of a baseball team will do that. Hey, okay, ball's hitting the air. What are you doing? Second baseman, what are you doing? Okay, you're going to first, great. You're going here, whatever. And the runners, hey, what's happened? You hit it on the ground. It's hit on the ground. What are you doing? If it's hit to the left side, right side. So you're kind of going through these scenarios, and that's great coaching. As leaders, are you doing that with your team? Are you running through different scenarios? Are you preparing them for the real world and being able to react quickly and accurately, right? So we used to have, when I was starting in financial services, we had to memorize a script, an 11-page script, no joke. This thing was called the PMM, Personal Money Management Interview. And for those of you at Ameriprise that are listening, you know what I'm talking about. One of my great friends and mentors, Larry Post, who has been on this show, was a master at drilling you at this thing. I was in my first year and second year and third year coming in when he was leading these classes that were like every Wednesday morning. And you'd get, whatever it was, 50 or 100 advisors into one room, and he would lead a role play. And it was drill for skill. And he'd say, okay, John, do your PMM. And I'd have to go through it and recite it as though we were in a meeting, but I had 50 or 70 or 100 people watching me as though, and they knew what I was supposed to say. Wow, talk about pressure. Pressure was intense. I remember a kid projectile vomited in one of the classes. No joke, no exaggeration. Projectile vomited because he was so nervous. I mean, people would truly get, physically sick. It was horrible, and I hated it. But what I will tell you is all that practice made me really, really good. Like all the different scenarios. So I'd go through and I'd go through the planning fee and what the service entails and everything like that. And then Larry would throw out a resistance. And I'd have to handle it, and I'd have to figure out what to do and how to say it and how to rebut it and what to say. And I'd keep going, and he'd keep going, and he'd throw more, and then he'd bounce to somebody else who didn't seem like they were paying attention, and they'd have to pick it up. He created this healthy level of anxiety, and it ultimately prepared us for the real world in an unbelievable way. We were number one in the country, I think, for years and years under Larry's leadership because he was so good at making us brilliant at the basics. And that's what it was. It wasn't like we were learning, the technical charting or all this in-depth stuff on technology or how to blah, 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 blah. It was literally learning the basics of the business, how to make a phone call, how to actually have a conversation with somebody. And we became brilliant at that because of the repetition and the practice over and over again. Do you do that as a leader in your organization? Are you drilling your people and preparing them for the different scenarios that might come up? It could be anything. Now, in leadership, you really have almost an infinite level of different scenarios, people saying different things or situations that come up. It's not like sports where you have a finite different number of things, but you can still prepare your team. You can teach them and develop them on how to handle things like conflict and how to lead people through change and how to lead themselves through change and how to communicate effectively and how to make decisions. All these things are things that are actually learnable and they're teachable. So as a leader, are you doing that? Are you preparing your team? Because you know what? It's not about making 100% difference. If you make a 3% difference in the skill sets of your team, the results are dramatic. They're not tiny. They're not 3% difference in results. 3% difference in skills and abilities leads to a dramatic difference, not only in the short term, but in the long term. It is unbelievably significant. The best teams are not multiples better than other teams. They're just a little bit better in a lot of different areas. And that's it. That's what it comes down to. So as a leader, what are you doing to create that type of environment? Just like we're doing, a kickball or baseball coach does with their team. I remember seeing, I think it was a documentary on Bill Belichick with the Patriots and how he goes through and literally gets the team together. He says, okay, gang, here's the deal. We got 4 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter. They have the ball at our 22-yard line. Here's what the scenario is. What do you do? And he'll call on them and they've got to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay, here's what they're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we respond. I mean, they go through this over and over and over because it prepares them in the real life, real situation. They don't have to think when they're in the game. If they have to think in the moment that play is happening, they're dead. Forget it. It's not going to happen. Okay, so if I'm in that meeting with a client and they're asking me or pushing back or giving me resistance that I haven't heard before or haven't practiced or I don't know how I'm going to respond, I'm probably not going to be as good as if I've practiced it. And I've said, okay, well, let me explain what the fee covers, or let me explain why this makes sense and why it's an ongoing type of service or why you shouldn't think about it and why you should take action, whatever it is. But these are things that I can prepare for. And as a leader, it's your job to get your people prepared. So my question today is, what are you doing? Are you doing anything? Are you doing, if you are doing something, are you doing enough? And if you are doing something, is it working? Is it paying off? Because sometimes we can do stuff that we think is actually working, Then we look at the results and we're like, you know what? It's really not making that. It feels good, or it feels like we're doing something. It's checking a box, but it's really not making the difference we're trying to make. If it's not working and you're not seeing results and your people don't feel like it's working, then stop it. Don't do it. Don't keep doing it. Change it. Do something different. Find something that's working. Okay, I've got lots of ideas for you. If you want to reach out to me, I'll share them with you. But in the meantime, keep that in mind. What are you doing right now to develop and prepare your people? Thanks for joining today. More coming very soon. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good guests coming up. So stay tuned. Give a thumbs up, share, subscribe. Go down below. Give the 5-star rating, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.